You always ask me, where do rich people hang out? Let me walk you through the Billionaire social calendar. But please, don't use this list to stalk me. For the top 1%, vacation is logistics, public performance, private transactions, and every now and then, a crime scene.
Should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's begin with the month-by-month Billionaire social calendar. January, St. Barts, Aspen, and Davos. If you're in Davos, you're technically skiing while attending the World Economic Forum, also known as the most powerful networking event disguised as the climate conversation. If you're not into the world's economy or the carbon offsets, you're in St. Barts. The Caribbean island turns into the billionaire runway, yachts, models, and overpriced beach rosé. Think Jeff Bezos or every trust fund kid who wants to avoid the reality. Aspen and Courchevel? Still acceptable. If you're into rubbing shoulders with the Russian oligarch kids who order flags along with champagne, tacky. Stop doing that. February, Gstaad, Super Bowl. Gstaad still reigns supreme for winter chic. It's less about skiing and more about being seen around the trendsetters, La Rosé kids. Oh, and trust me, we'll have an entire episode about that school later. But February also hosts Super Bowl, where rich Americans fly private and pretend to care about football. Go Celtics! I mean, Patriots, whatever. March, Aspen, Hong Kong, and art. If you are cultured, Art Basel Hong Kong is your move. Because nothing says discreet family's office like spending 11 million on a sculpture made out of glass and trauma. And also, Aspen closes its doors soon, so it's your last chance to show up in the fur coat and call it sports. April. Let's fly to Georgia. Welcome to the world of the most elite lawn party. The Masters is the golf of Holy Grail, hosted at the club that didn't allow women until 2012. Nothing says old money like segregation.
We know you're in there.
Is someone out there? I can't hear any girls' voices in here.
May, Met Gala, Kentucky Derby, Cannes, and Monaco Grand Prix. May is chaos for the elite. You start in New York for the Met Gala, then fly to Kentucky for the Derby, where you will see a lot of hats, horses, and hedge fund bros. Then jet to Cannes to pretend to watch films and wrap it all up in Monaco Grand Prix, where the champagne flows and everybody is stuck in Charles Leclerc and his ex and current girlfriends, dreaming of becoming the next one, regardless of you being a man or a woman, by the way. June, Royal Ascot and Henley Regatta. After May's chaos, it's time for some class. Royal Ascot is 5 days batting, hats, and soft diplomacy. You'll spot royalty, billionaires, and one extremely confused tech founder. Then there is Henley's Regatta, but it's also my birthday month, so you will catch me in the Hamptons. July, you're either courtside at Wimbledon, yachting at Saint-Tropez, or disappearing. If you're not just rich, but the chosen one, every July you vanish at the redwoods of California for Bohemian Grove. No phones, no press, no women, just men in robes plotting world's domination over Scotch and owl statues. Watch our previous episode to learn more about this. August, Amalfi Coast, Venice Film Festival, and Burning Man. Amalfi is stunning and kind of over.
I've always worked hard to avoid Capri-Ski.
If you're elite with creative edge, you're at Venice Film Festival, pretending to understand postmodern cinema. If you're into spiritual cosplay at 10K tents, Burning Man is your dusty flex. September, Monaco. Monaco Yacht Show is where you flex which ship you lived in all summer and preview which one you will buy next. You're not here just to party. You're here to invest in carbon fiber hulls and meet your future co-parent. October, Frieze London. Frieze is where billionaires buy weird art because their wealth managers told them that it's tax efficient. Everybody talks about post-capitalist obstruction like they really know what it means. Meanwhile, somebody just bought a banana duct tape to a wall for $250K. True story, you've probably heard it. November, Paris Le Ball. Melbourne Cup. Le Ball is the invite-only debutante ball in Paris, where heiresses wear haute couture and get pre-engaged to oil heirs. Last year, TikTok's darling was Lara Cosima. Melbourne Cup, it's horses, gambling, and Australia cosplaying Britain. December, Miami Art Basel, and back to St. Barts. Start the month with Art Basel Miami, where the crowd is barely hedge funds and mostly OnlyFans.
Yacht.
Then, naturally back to St. Barts. We've come a full circle. Now, you might be thinking, these people are never home. Do their kids raise themselves? Oh, sweetie, no, that's what the staff is for. See, for the top 1%, vacation isn't just a getaway, it's a traveling village. You don't just pack a sunscreen, you bring your staff, your chef, your trainer, your stylist, your assistants, and of course, children's support team, such as nannies, tutors, private security. People who aren't in the photos, but who makes the photos possible. But let me tell you how it looked from my side. When I was a kid, family vacations meant flights, hotels, yachts, and always bodyguards. And not in the scary kind of way, more like built-in besties with an earpiece. I loved it. They knew my favorite snacks, they carried my luggage, played Totally Spice with my sisters and I. And fun fact, that's how most of them learned skiing, basic phrases in French, and were actually way better at it than I was.
You speak very good French.
Gracias.
And of course, the art of pretending to enjoy the operas, which my mom forced us all to go to. But my favorite memory? When I was sent to gymnastics training camp. I thought I'd be dropped off like everybody else. Silly me, when has this ever been the case? But no, my bodyguards came too. And by day 3, they somehow became our morning practice coaches. The real coach? Sipping espresso while my security ran warm-ups like we were training in the military and preparing for a coup. Push-ups, sit-ups, running drills. But we were motivated by the fact that they would show us their guns if we outperformed ourselves. The older girls were motivated because they all had crushes on my bodyguards. I was thriving. I was the coolest kid in the camp because everybody loved my bodyguards. And my bodyguards loved me until I turned 15 and became quite a trouble, which meant that they would get in trouble because of me. And that's the thing about our world. It means never doing anything alone. Vacations are great when you're rich, but there's a different side to it. What happens to the people who are not wealthy but want to taste the luxury? You've all heard of Epstein Island, the so-called Lolita Express. The guest list included everyone from Bill Clinton to Prince Andrew, to billionaires with the last name you'd only see in offshore licks. It was a playground for some and a trap for others. And Epstein understood one thing: blackmail is the most valuable currency. But if you think that's where the scandals stop, darling, welcome to Italy. Have you heard of Bunga-Bunga? And it sounds just as bad as it was. Let me introduce you to Italy's favorite political soap opera. Enter Berlusconi.
Bunga-Bunga, Bunga-Bunga.
Media's mogul, billionaire, 3-time prime minister, a man who somehow ran the country while running multiple trials for fraud and bribery. Does that ring a bell? He owned TV stations, newspaper, football clubs, and politicians, and allegedly a rotation guest list of aspiring showgirls. But the scandal that turned him from headline to international punchline? The Bunga-Bunga nights. That's what Berlusconi's inner circle called his private dinners, held at his Milan mansion and Villa San Martino. But let's not be naive, those weren't dinner parties. They were full-blown sex parties, dressed in caviar and Versace. Young girls, models, dancers, and TV hopefuls. They were all invited to dine, flirt, and allegedly perform for the powerful. Some were allegedly paid, some were gifted jewelry, apartments, or job offers. Others were allegedly underaged. Which brings us to Karima El Makrouk, a Moroccan-born nightclub dancer. Her stage name, Ruby Rubakuori. Ruby, the heart stealer. She met Berlusconi at 17, attended at least one of his infamous parties, and somehow ended up in police custody over a separate incident. Here, where it gets wild. When the police arrested Ruby, they were allegedly told by Berlusconi's people that she was the niece of the Egyptian president. Yes, they invoked international diplomacy to release a teenager from jail. Because exposing the truth about sex party could have been more embarrassing to the government than admitting to straight-up geopolitical lying. But the scandal didn't stay quiet for long. Leaks came, photos surfaced. Testimonies from other women revealed horrific details: pole dancing in the government offices, lingerie catwalks, and of course, girls dressed as nuns. In 2013, Berlusconi was convicted of paying for sex with a minor and abusing power to cover it up. The sentence? 7 years. But of course, it was overturned on appeal because for many rich men, a villa isn't just villa. It's a venue for ego, control, and secrets, but barely for consequences. Merci. Hello?
How many actual relaxing vacations do the rich take in a year?
It really depends. For example, when I was still working in the corporate, I had 14 days off. But my dad's dream was always for me to quit and travel for at least 2 or 3 years. So it really depends. It's not like everybody is vacationing or everybody is not. It really depends on your family. So there is no right answer to that. Good question though. Hello?
I hate packing my suitcase for a trip and then unpacking it when I get home. I just want to have everything there. But I don't like doing the prep and packing. Is there an efficient service rich people use for that? Because I think it's for me too.
The efficient service is just owning different houses around the world. That way you don't have to carry your luggage with you. So my recommendation is buying more property. Enough of calls. Go pack for our vacation. Statistically, only about 20% of the global population can afford any kind of vacation. And the ones which I just described is for not even 1%, but 0.1. You have to remember that the majority dreams of witnessing the world while flying private, bringing their staff with them everywhere they go, and rub shoulders with the world's elite. But realistically, so little can. So they look for other ways, which at first glance look like shortcuts. When you don't have access, even danger starts to look like a door. As some people are sipping champagne on a boat, somewhere a 17-year-old is being flown in to audition for the modeling opportunity. And for some, it's just entertainment. But for the vulnerable ones, it's once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, a possibility of a golden ticket. But if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So the question is, when luxury becomes the dream, how much danger are you willing to ignore just to touch it? Like, subscribe, ring a bell, and as always, do whatever you want with this information.